Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my channel. I am actually going to be talking about my decision to leave my hometown and my home state of Illinois and what I learned doing that twice during the country's lockdown. So if you're interested in that, please stick around, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, I was born in a rural town in Illinois called Urbana, and I grew up in Champaign, Urbana up until I was 18 and decided to go to college in Chicago. Why did I decide to leave my hometown and go to college was a few reasons. One of which was that Champaign is kind of small. A lot of things that you want to do there for fun, I think you would have to actually leave Champaign in order to do. I wanted to see more than just what I was seeing every day there. Your average, I guess, suburban, rural capitalism, like malls, going to stores, some restaurants. But then we lived in a rural area, so you would see a lot of cornfields, soybean fields, not really much else. Or I wanted to live a city lifestyle and then just see where my life goes from there. Another reason why I chose to leave was that there weren't very many options that I saw financially. Now, this isn't me, I guess, bashing any of the townies that decided to stay, because I do know a few that are nurses and data analysts and stuff. I just didn't see that many other options for my field, which was biology. The last reason why I decided to leave was that there weren't many school options either, college-wise. You could either go to University of Illinois, which is an amazing school for business, engineering, and I think even veterinarians, or you could go to Parkland College, which was one of the country's top community colleges as well. But I felt like I just wouldn't have gotten the same experiences and gotten as much exposure to people from across the country and even the world if I had stayed there. I think financially that would have been a good option for me because the University of Illinois is an amazing school, but I just wanted to see more. So that's why I chose to go to Loyola University Chicago instead. So living in Chicago for 10 years taught me a lot. It's a conglomerate city. Like, there are a lot of people there, a lot of different cultures, and it really teaches you to, use your common sense. It teaches you how to have proximity to people that are different than you. And I think that's a good experience when you are leaving your hometown. I think that's a big reason why a lot of people should at least leave their hometown and experience other cultures. I learned independence there. I got my first job in Chicago. I learned how to manage money in Chicago. I learned, how to pay bills in Chicago. When I left for college, I didn't know anything about bills. And when I met my now fiance, I remember one of the first questions I asked him was, how do you even pay a bill? Like, I didn't know anything. I was pretty sheltered, and I wasn't really worrying about paying bills per se, like physically paying them. I did a lot of work where I would give money to people so that they could pay the bills. So I was paying bills from a young age, but not going online, setting up an account, you know what I mean? I probably could have learned it from staying, but that is a skill that I got when I left. And it also just teaches you, how to be responsible for yourself. Nobody was gonna buy me groceries. Nobody was gonna, pay my bills anymore. Nobody was gonna tell me to get up and go to work. I had no choice. If I wanted to stay in Chicago, I needed to get up and do those things myself. And even though there were a bit of struggles in the beginning, just, right out of college, getting a job, securing a place with no credit history, building up your renter profile, it's not the easiest thing to do in a city. And it also helped me to be able to move across the country twice during the country's lockdown. The country is so different. If you leave your state, even go like 1 or 2 states over, say you're in Illinois and you move to Ohio, it's different. Things are just run differently, and it teaches you so much. And just talking to these people, just getting proximity to these people, it teaches you so much, and it leads you to look up things and to do research on things that I never would have thought to do. I'm actually grateful for that perspective, gaining that perspective. I ended up leaving Illinois for financial reasons, just so that I could get ahead professionally. So I felt like, I had some options in Chicago, but I wanted to see something different. So I moved, and seeing, especially in my field, cancer research, seeing how different states do it, there is a difference. Even if you're going to one NCI designated hospital at Northwestern, where I used to work, to a different one, University of Colorado, Anschutz, where I was working in Colorado, they do things so differently, and it just teaches you what's right and what's wrong in the industry. Another thing that I learned from moving states, Colorado, the climate from Illinois is very different. And I think there's a misunderstanding of Colorado's climate. I remember when I was telling people in my family or, my friend that I was gonna be moving to Denver. And one of the main things that they tell me is you're gonna get a lot of snow. You're gonna have so much snow because, Colorado is known for skiing, snowboarding, snow activities because they have mountains. It is hot in Denver, Colorado. It is hot. So when you do get rain or snow or any type of precipitation, the next day it's gone. Like all of the snowy scenes that you guys are seeing are really like once you get past the Idaho Springs area, or you're more in the mountains. If you're in Vail or Aspen, the mountains really take all of the snow. Whereas in Illinois, you get extreme heat and you get extreme cold. So you can expect 9 months out of the year, it's gonna be dark from the winter. You can expect snow that's up to your knees. And in Chicago, you can expect a yearly polar vortex, whereas that just doesn't happen in Colorado. And it's another thing that I learned from moving from Colorado to the West Coast. Not that hot always, but they get hot sometimes. And the lack of air conditioning just because of the temperate weather that you are expecting from year to year. Another thing that I learned from leaving states is the differences in your opportunities. You can increase your opportunities by leaving the state that you're from. So when I left Chicago to go to Denver, I increased, I feel like, my financial worth in that, I knew of what other things people were doing at different NCI designated hospitals. And so the one that I was working at the time in Colorado, they saw a benefit in that. There's no harm in doing trial and error and seeing what you like and what you don't, what you can and can't do. And having that experience helped me to propel my career in a way that I really wanted to. Also, it opened me up to better networking. So my network isn't just people from my college or my high school, but it's also people from where I worked in Chicago, where I worked in Colorado, and now where I work remotely. That's worldwide. So I'm networking with people that are in Asia, that are in Europe, back home, Washington, Colorado. You just get in touch with so many different people. And I just feel like if I had stayed in Champaign-Urbana, I don't think I would have found as much opportunity or been able to network as well as I am now that I've lived in 3 different states. One of the things that I wasn't expecting from moving is you learn what you like and you learn what you don't like, right? So a lot of times when people leave their hometowns, they say like, they idolize or they fantasize about what that new life is gonna look like. And I also did that. Colorado was supposed to be my last stop. I was like, we're gonna put down roots. We're gonna go skiing all the time. We're always gonna be in the mountains. And it just teaches you what you like and you don't like. So I do like living around mountains, but I don't like the traffic that comes with living in Colorado. Since Colorado is known as that getaway state to go, to go to Breckenridge, to go, to Loveland and go ski, everyone's coming there from around the country and even from out of the country. So even though you live in Colorado, you're not skiing every weekend. You're not getting to. It's hard to rent a car to go out there, because everyone is on it. They're booking car rentals months in advance. So by the time you're like, let's get away this weekend, and you're looking at rentals, there's nothing left. Whereas in Chicago, it was very easy to get a rental car to go out of town. I definitely learned that I do like to be able to have opportunities to, enjoy the resources of the state that I'm living in. But some states, you just aren't gonna be able to get that as easily. Another thing that I learned is just the culture and the food styles that I like and don't like. Chicago's food is delicious, and I know people from Chicago are known to be biased towards their food, but it didn't hit the same in Colorado. The food in Colorado, I think the most important thing that I've learned from moving from state to state is that you grow to appreciate some things about where you're from. You know, I think overall it's been a positive experience. I feel stronger as a person. I feel resourceful, and I feel like I've learned a lot about, you know, the country as a whole and the states that I've lived in. So would I do it again? Yes. Nothing's basically stopping me or you from going across the country or even the world to see what you like and what you don't. So my unsolicited advice to you is to just go out there and see. So if this video resonated with you, thank you for watching, and hit the like button if you liked it on the way out, and let me know in the comments what you think. How many states you've lived in or seen, how many countries you've lived in, and what did that teach you? Thank you guys again for watching, and I will see you next time.